What is going on, everybody? CJC presents WandA Workouts and Anime, and I think it's finally time we take a look at the IRL Hunter exam that's being hosted by the Hunters Association. This is a conspiracy theory, and I hope you stick with me through it. For those of you who are not aware, we are going to talk about what this exam is, but there are people that are hosting an IRL Hunter exam. I have like three, I think two possibilities are most likely. Let's take a look through in case you are unaware. As of right now, it says it's sold out, but as of recording this, January 26th, it is 8:20 p.m. There is more registration. But let's take a look here at this event that we have regarding the Hunter exam. It is currently sold out as we speak, but we are going to take a look at registration. We have a little bit of a breakdown that they've provided for us. So it's going to be on March 29th. It is an all-day event. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe the actual Hunter exams were hosted throughout over the course of a few days. This, however, is going to be all in one day. They initially did have a different address in DC. I believe it was like not too far from the heart of DC, from like all the museums and stuff like that. Now it is somewhere in Virginia, and we'll take a look at that tab in a bit. But looking at the time frame for how they would ideally like to do the whole day, we have a sign-in period, phase 1, which is the hour and a half, and we're going to talk about this in a bit. Phase 2, 2 hours. We get a lunch break, which is nice, but I think considering where the location is, I don't know if they're serving lunch on site, or I think getting Uber Eats to your things would be a little tough. Phase 3, phase 4, phase 5, all an hour each. Now let's take a look at like the events briefly, but keep in mind that on the Hunter Association website, they do have a little bit more details. So phase 1, and this is the craziest part that I think people were appalled by, including myself as well, is that you're expected to run 10 to 15 miles within an hour and a half. Now, I was reading through Reddit, and someone had mentioned that there is a world record for a 20 kilometer run, and one of which the record was 12.4 miles ran in an hour and 15 minutes. So you're expecting people to essentially break a fucking world record, which is absolutely insane. I mean, perhaps running the 10 to 15 miles, like stating that very clearly, would shy people away that are probably unfit for this particular challenge. This way they don't have to worry about medical costs, but I will talk about that later on in the video. There's phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. Phase 5 is what people were also concerned about regarding the one-on-one combat. In particular, people were worried because there is no age limit. What people were worried about is like a repeat of the gun fight where, possibly breaking someone's arm, and that still very well could happen. But let's talk about what happens after we pass. Once we get into the actual details that the Hunter Association website has given us. Like I said, it is at this location. They're expecting about 10 out of every 1,000 applicants are going to earn this status. It's going to be held at this location, so it's going to be divided into several phases to become a successful hunter, including survival skills, mental toughness, and combat proficiency. I don't know if that reflects it necessarily, but let's take a look at the more in-depth information before I go on to my conspiracy theory. The first phase is designated to test candidates' mental resolve and athletic ability, and it's just a matter of keep running until they basically say stop. Again, we don't know when that will be, but nevertheless, let's keep going. Deception. This is an interesting game. Puts candidates into a social game designed to test their ability to deceive, manipulate, and outwit a group. So, is this just Mafia? I I genuinely have no idea how this game is gonna go. I'm assuming it is Mafia, unless they're playing Persona IRL, but nevertheless, Labyrinth. So this is just a maze with riddles, puzzles, and physical challenges. So cool stuff. Capture the flag. Basic enough, but the combat. So we finally got some insight into the combat, that you are going to be knocking the opponent off of a raised balance beam, which is pretty difficult enough. I don't have the greatest balance, I'm not going to lie to you. I think I would just knock myself out, if I'm just being honest. This is going to be a very, very, very quick final phase. Armed with foam bronze, competitors must outmaneuver and outwit their rivals. So you're just trying to knock them off with like a pool noodle, if that's that's the best way to put it. And now let's talk about what happens after you pass. So you'll get the title of a pro hunter, which it says exclusive privileges. What the fuck could that possibly be for a fictional occupation? So there's a private hunter portal. I don't know what the fuck I just said before. A digital hub where pro hunters can connect. So I guess a networking opportunity, because this is the confusing part, right? Future mission opportunities. What missions? Like like volunteer work? Like I genuinely have no idea. You'll be quote unquote recognized globally, very scam worthy, and then pro hunters have the ability to be examiners at future hunter exams, so that's pretty cool, I guess. And then there are also additional benefits, like group co-working in major cities where the event is held. Again, I'm not sure how this is gonna work. Like, do people get a cut of the money? Because entering in, it's $110 fee for 1,000 applicants here. That comes to 110,000. Right, 110,000 will be made by the people who are hosting it on this day, right? And let's take a look at the location. Actually, you can very easily divide this up into five sections, right? But if you do make it past phase 2 for the lunch break, I'm assuming they're going to serve people, because let's take a look at, are there restaurants in this area? No, not really. I mean, you gotta drive a bit to get to where you gotta go. So taking that into consideration, maybe they're serving lunch, who knows? That would be my question, right? If I were a participant of this of this thing where you gotta drive a bit, right? That would be one of my concerns, if I was a participant. But let's talk about my conspiracy theory. So I think 3 theories are very plausible. I genuinely think my top one is that this is sponsored by some sort of military organization. This could be the Marines, Air Force, Army. It does not matter. I think this has the possibility of it being hosted by them. And I think here's why. Number one, and the biggest thing, if you go to the major cons, if you go to New York City Comic Con, if you go to Anime NYC, I go to those frequently. I go to those every year, and there will always be one booth, at least one booth of the Marines, the Army, where somewhere you can do pull-ups, right? And I think it makes sense for them to be there, right? Because these cosplayers are in such terrific shape. Like, you don't understand how many Inosuke's I see every year. And hey, kudos, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get in the best shape of your life, like, kudos. Like, I can't hate on that, especially, considering we come from the fitness page, right? The other half of our page is regarding fitness. So it just makes sense. So to me, it's like, them being at these anime events, them putting 2 and 2 together, like, okay, being in the Hunter Association doesn't necessarily mean that they're just enrolled in the military, you know what I mean? Like, no, but there's going to be very, very strong recruitment, because 110,000 is going to be made that day, And unless they're paying for medics, or they have people who are top-notch medics, a part of this hunter association, running it, right? How are they going to purchase that, right? Because there are definitely going to be some liability papers that need to be signed, and things of that nature. But if an accident does happen, if someone does have, perhaps cardiac arrest, who knows what could happen? Because definitely running 10 to 15 miles in an hour and a half, I mean, that is a recipe for disaster for a lot of fucking people. So you have to have something on site, and who are the people that can be able to well equip that and then well manage this whole event for an entire day? I think has to be some sort of military organization. And that's theory 1 as to who I think is going to be behind this. Now, theory 2 is this is just going to be a big fucking scam. Big ass fucking scam. Like a fucking, the Willy Wonka, and there was another one that was like a really big scam that is just slipping my mind, unfortunately, right now, where, they'll put on an experience for the fans, but, actually participating in it is just going to be a fucking shit show. Now, before I just go to theory 3, I do want to compare this to what they did a few years ago in Japan, because this is not sponsored by, and as far as we know, there's no associations with Shueisha, right? The actual HunterxHunter, right? But let's take a look at what they did in Japan, where they actually had a HunterxHunter games-like event. They had it at the big stadium in Japan. This was the poster for that all the participants, there are 1,500 participants, that they needed to escape the stadium while Crollo attempts to have his own plans, right, and enact his plans, perhaps kill the hunters that are kill the hunters that are participating in this event. And the stadium members will also be given exclusive items from the series, like masks, keychains, posters, coins, and other shit. So this is something that makes sense, right? We have the official logo here for HunterxHunter, but this is not that at all. I feel like theory 2 regarding this just being a fucking scam, this is just so, they're taking it in name and making it their own, and, potentially scamming the shit out of people. It's very likely. And then, of course, we have theory 3, and that's just, there are just some good-hearted people out there who genuinely want to put this together. Again, I don't know how likely that is, if I'm just being honest. I definitely think the military recruitment just makes sense, especially considering how frequent they go to the cons, and perhaps they learned about a marketing tactic that allows them to be able to host something like this and draw interest. Because my big concern is that what does it possibly mean for future missions? Let's scroll down here. Future mission opportunities. What does that entail? Security? I mean, you need your Sora license for security, to do security work. So, are you being security detail? Like, are you giving them opportunity, like discounted rates to get their Sora license? Like, is it community work? Like, what the flying fuck could future mission opportunities be? Are you gonna, have people find lost pets? Like, I'm very fucking confused as to what this possibly could mean, outside of some sort of military obligation. I mean, that's genuinely like the only real thing I can think of. And then, of course, theory 2, which again could be very plausible. I think theory 1 makes the most sense with it being in the military, is that theory 2 is just gonna be a big fucking scam, and this is just not gonna happen. If there are people joining this, I don't know if any of my watchers or any of you guys watching this are going to be partaking in this. If you are, please leave a comment down below. I do believe there's an email in my bio. Send an email to that. I would love to interview you. Like, no jokes. I'd love to know, like, the process. Like, if you're going to participate in it, I would love to know some follow-up. So, leave your info in the comment section below. Or, like I said, reach out to me via email in my About page. But those are my thoughts on this. Like I said, Theory 1, I definitely think is plausible, and that this is sponsored by some sort of military organization. Theory 2 can also be very plausible, is that it's just a big fucking scam utilizing the name of the HunterxHunter manga and anime to draw people, and this is just going to be another fire festival, another Willy Wonka fucking debacle. And then, you know, perhaps Theory 3, and that it's just good-hearted humans who genuinely love the show and want to express their love for the show, trying to get people together. Again, I'm just genuinely confused by what the fuck they can mean about future mission opportunities. It just doesn't make sense. And of course, you know, quote-unquote recognized globally, which is very marketing tactic-y. So it's definitely, this alone very much supports Theory 2. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. What do you think, or who do you think is sponsoring the Hunter Association? Who do you think is behind hosting this event? Are they scammers? Is it a military organization? Or is it people who genuinely love the show? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Again, if you are participating in this, please reach out to me. I would love to interview you. With that being said, I will see you in the comment section below and in the next video. Peace.